Oh, that stool is way too tall.
Is it too tall?
Oh,
Give me
right.
the lean on
That
it.
stool is almost as tall.
I know.
The best thing would be to have a chair like this.
Okay, okay. I'll arrange for that. Okay. Copy that. Is going to put this here for you, so it'll just be here waiting.
Yep. Excellent.
Perfect.
Friends, countrymen, Romans, lend me your ears. Yeah.
And then so that's supposed to come up, and we'll just pages out.
Friends, Convocation October 2022 is about to begin. For your enjoyment and safety during the ceremony, please listen to a few announcements. As a courtesy to our graduates and guests, please remain for the duration of the ceremony. During the ceremony, please remain seated and keep the aisleways clear. This is required by fire regulation. In the event of an emergency evacuation, follow the directions of event personnel to the assembly point, which is located down the stairs behind you on the track and field. Please proceed slowly and carefully. Those with accessibility needs, please proceed to the Halpern Center, which is located northeast of Convocation Mall. There is a water station outside of Maggie Benston Center, which is on your right. Reusable water bottles, SFU blankets, and other gifts are available for purchase at the Spirit Shop in the Diamond Family Auditorium, which is on your right. In consideration of other guests, we ask that you refrain from conversation during the ceremony and please put cell phones on silent. And for those near and afar, we encourage you to share your photos and messages on social media using #MySFUGrad. Now, if you are able, please rise for the academic procession.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Tashwalap na akwaital na siem na siya na Juanitamat Melsteo Amits ap Kutquilam at Saltosh Smant. To all of you, my dear friends and relatives, welcome to this beautiful mountain that our ancestors called Sawtooth. Nikwans mistuch tkwa aishwelwin at mukwat. We bring good feelings to each and every one of you. Tashlimish at Salewatash Stamtamech. We are the Tsleil-Waututh warriors. Itzitala to Siwan Ash. We are also grateful to the ancestors, and we send our congratulations to each and every one of the students who have worked so hard to be here and celebrate this day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come and witness what the students are learning and what they are celebrating today. It's a great honor to see so many of our people coming across from different borders to celebrate with us and graduate. And thanks to the SFU family for supporting them. A quick prayer and we'll continue our event. Great Spirit, thank you for bringing us together today. Just guide each and every one of us on the path that we're on, letting us always remember that we are the leaders and the mentors of those who follow us, those who witness what we do and what we say. I ask Great Spirit to bless the elders within our community and our children, all my relations, and thank you for inviting us.
Let the gang go by. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that warm welcome, Elder Margaret. Elder Margaret is a member of the SFU Elders Program, and on behalf of all of us assembled, I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present. Thank you also to our cultural representatives, the Tsleil-Waututh Warriors. Thank you. For opening this afternoon's ceremony in a good way. And of course, also, please join me in extending our thanks to the world-famous SFU Pipe Band for getting us started this afternoon. I'd now like to invite Ms. Bonnie Boren, who is the Associate Director of Operations at Radius, SFU's Social Innovation Hub, and an SFU alumnus, to lead us in the singing of O Canada. For those of you in Convocation Mall and online, please join us in Rise if you are able.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Please be seated. Thank you for joining us today on the traditional, unceded, and continuously occupied territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Coquitlam peoples. For many years, Indigenous languages were outlawed by the government as part of an effort to assimilate Indigenous peoples in Canada. As a native English speaker myself, I speak these languages today to contribute to their revitalization and to enhance my own and our collective learning. In the shared territory on which our university sits, there are two Indigenous languages that were historically spoken. I recognize the Hunkaminam and Squamish-speaking peoples have been in relationship with this land since time immemorial. We are indeed privileged to gather here on what is now known as Burnaby Mountain, but what was first known as Tlaklakwaitan by the Squamish people, which means where the arbutus bark gets peeled in the spring. And Saltooth, the Tsleil-Waututh place name, as we heard earlier, for Burnaby Mountain. At SFU, we're committed to the ongoing learning and growth, and it's my honor to share this knowledge with you today as SFU and indeed our country continue on our paths towards meaningful reconciliation. And now, I'd like to declare convocation assembled for the granting of degrees. Madam President, members of the Board of Governors and Senate, faculty, honored guests, and graduands, my name is Tamara Vrooman, and I am privileged to be the Chancellor of Simon Fraser University. We're delighted and honored that you have joined us for this very special afternoon convocation. In attendance today are a number of distinguished guests in the audience and on the platform, including members of Senate, vice presidents, deans, and faculty. I'd like to acknowledge Michelle Good, who will be conferred an honorary doctorate of letters this afternoon. Abby Parmar, member of the SFU Board of Governors, and our SFU alumni, legacy, parents, and families. It's wonderful to have so many of you in attendance here today. Honored guests, friends and family, loved ones, most of all, graduands, welcome to this fine celebration at your university. Welcome to Convocation. What a day. It's certainly a beautiful day for the gathering in this Arthur Erickson outdoor Convocation Mall. Being Chancellor at SFU is a wonderful job, and I enjoy many aspects of it, but I have to say, Convocation is always my favorite part. Celebrating one of life's great milestones and achievements in the presence of friends and family. And let me say, from up here, you all look absolutely fabulous. You did it. You achieved this milestone. We're all so very proud of you. On behalf of everyone at SFU, faculty, staff, and alumni, let me begin today's proceedings by offering our heartfelt congratulations. In addition to conferring your actual degrees and greeting each of you as you cross the stage, one of my jobs as Chancellor at Convocation is to offer you a piece of advice, a pearl of wisdom, something to remember as you move on from this day throughout your life. I can tell you, it's not such an easy task. You're all so accomplished already. You're one of, in fact, the most accomplished and resilient graduating classes in SFU's history. I don't have to tell you about what your education means, what you've had to do to endure the challenges to get it, particularly through the pandemic, or the power that the education you've received here gives you to change the world. I can see you're using that power already, each and every day, as artists, entrepreneurs, activists, and community leaders, as athletes, writers, organizers, and student politicians, as scholars, scientists, poets, and journalists. In these and so many other ways, you are an incredible, diverse, confident group of graduates who have had such a huge impact on our university already. And I know you will continue doing great things in the world. I have absolutely no doubt about that. And in fact, the world really needs you right now. I have no doubt about that either. But let me offer this. As much as you have accomplished at SFU and as already prepared as you are for what comes next, I think you'll find, as I have, that the value of your education will only truly be realized with time. Wisdom, Albert Einstein said, is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. Knowledge is gained, wisdom is earned. And the wisdom that comes from your time spent here working with others in a common academic pursuit to achieve political change, to compete on a team, to test and push your limits, to question your assumptions, to commit to something bigger than yourselves, these are the building blocks of an examined life, a productive life, a life with purpose. I have relied on them every day of my life since I sat in your place. I won't tell you how many years ago that was. They've made me a better public servant, a better CEO, and I hope a better member of the community. For me, this has been the enduring gift of education. Over time, my education has helped me see, and I hope it will help you see, that we share a common destiny, that we can achieve more by working together than we can alone, that we find purpose and meaning in community and in each other, as our country and the world confronts enormous challenges, from climate crisis to the rise of authoritarianism. These are values that are more important than ever. They are the building blocks of wisdom. Cherish them, nurture them, make them real in your lives and work, and you will be enriched, I promise you. But so will your community. And please know that even though you're moving on, SFU will always be your home. We're so grateful to have been a part of your lives over these past few years. And we hope you stay connected to us so we can share in the work that you do going forward. Let me close by once again offering my sincere congratulations to all of you. It's now my privilege to call upon the president of our university, Dr. Joy Johnson, for her address. Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. Honored guests, graduands, it is a privilege to stand before you today on the unceded traditional territories of the Tsleil-Waututh, the Coquitlam, the Squamish, and the Musqueam peoples. It's also a privilege for Chancellor Vrooman and me to wear these beautiful regalia. The motives on the regalia were chosen by Squamish Hereditary Chief Janice George and Willard Buddy Joseph. They represent the First Peoples and the food harvested on Burnaby Mountain. And it is an honor, I must say, to also be sharing this very special day with all of you. I want to say welcome. Welcome to all the parents, the spouses, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles and friends, and loved ones who are celebrating with us today. And of course, the biggest welcome to our graduands, whether you're joining us via the live stream or here in Convocation Mall. You are just incredible. I know how hard you have all worked to see this day, to cross this stage. I know because I was once in your exact spot, sitting through a graduation ceremony. I remember I was so excited and a little bit nervous, as I'm sure many of you are today as well. I also had a plan. At least I thought I did. I knew what I wanted to do with my life. You see, my mom was a nurse, And every night when she came back from working her shift at the hospital, she would tell me stories about the patients that she was taking care of, about the challenges they were facing, and how she was helping them. It really inspired me, so much so that I decided I wanted to be a nurse as well. So I went to university and completed my studies with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I loved it. I was sure that nursing would be my whole career. A few decades and career pivots later, it turns out that life had different plans for me. And I want to say to you, it might have different plans for you as well. So today, we're celebrating the completion of your program in the faculties of Education and Environment. But who knows? One day, you might also be a university president. I have to say, I have yet to meet a 5-year-old, or actually someone graduating from university, who says they actually want to be a university president when they grow up. It certainly didn't occur to me. And I sometimes wonder what my 5-year-old self would say about my life's path. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that for each of you, today marks the end of one journey and the beginning of a much, much longer one. As you move forward, you might be presented with opportunities that you weren't expecting, but the skills that you've developed, the education you've received here, the learning that you have experienced has prepared you to step up to these challenges. Of course, I do mean things like writing lesson plans, analyzing soil, understanding the factors that influence climate change. But if I'm honest, the most valuable skills that I learned in nursing school weren't simply things like how to give an injection or measure vital signs or use a stethoscope. Instead, I learned to listen, really listen to the needs of my patients and to those around me. I learned how to work well under highly stressful situations, and that's something I'm sure you all can relate to. I learned to apply my critical thinking skills through what's called the nursing process, an approach to problem solving that I still use today. And I learned not to faint at the sight of blood. I must say that comes in handy from time to time still. So if you studied education, that means you know how to adapt to changing environments. You know how to communicate well and lead in a way that inspires others. And if you studied environment, you fostered in yourself a sense of curiosity and learned how to be an active participant in civic and political life, using your knowledge and your experience to advocate for real change. That understanding, those new perspectives will carry you through the rest of your life. And not only that, they're exactly what the world needs right now. You are now going into a world that is changing faster than any time in living memory. We face an ongoing pandemic, growing inequity, a climate crisis. But I'm standing on this stage today because I believe that your time at SFU has given you the skills and training you need to embrace every opportunity that comes your way and to create real solutions to our world's most pressing challenges. I've seen your hard work and your determination, your innovative and creative spirit, your kindness and empathy for others, and I know you can do it. So maybe you've got your future career all mapped out, just like I thought I did, or maybe you're not quite sure where you're going to go next. All of that is okay. As I learned firsthand, as long as you're willing to learn and to be open to opportunities, life is going to take you to some wild and wonderful places. So, no matter where you go from here, please know that everyone on this stage, every single person in the audience, every faculty and staff member who helped you along the way is so very proud of you and always will be. And so from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of everyone here at Simon Fraser University, I want to say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. SFU's honorary degree is the highest honor conferred by the university. Degrees are awarded to distinguished individuals in recognition of their scholarly, scientific, or artistic achievement, or in recognition of exceptional contribution to the public good through professional or philanthropic activity. Their achievements celebrate our university's values and serve as an inspiration. They are role models to our students, graduates, alumni, and our wider community. The honorary degree will now be conferred. To present the honorary degree candidate, Ms. Michelle Good, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Eldon Yellowhorn. Dr. Yellowhorn is a member of the Piikani Nation and has family and cultural ties to the Pagan Indian Reserve. He established the Department of First Nation Studies and served as its first chair. He teaches courses dedicated to chronicling the experience of Aboriginal people across Canada. Dr. Yellowhorn.
Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present Michelle Good. Michelle is a member of the Red Pheasant Cree Nation. She's an author, poet, lawyer, and she's a tireless advocate for the students who endured Canada's residential school system. She has dedicated her career to confronting and repairing the profound suffering and trauma they experience. Ms. Good spent 5 years in foster care and began working for Indigenous organizations while still a teenager. At age 40, she chose to pursue a new approach to advocacy and obtained a law degree from the University of British Columbia in support of residential school survivors. At 58, she returned to her alma mater and earned a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. Her debut novel about former students trying to find their way after residential school took shape there. She based her characters and their struggles on the myriads of stories she heard during the course of her life and career. Five Little Indians was released to instant acclaim in 2020. The novel reveals the tragic legacy of the Indian residential school system and its continuing impact on the lives of Indigenous people. In the words of one reviewer, it opened, quotes, a devastating and compassionate window into the human cost of colonialism, unquote. It won the HarperCollins UBC Best Fiction Prize, the Governor General's Literary Award, in which Ms. Good was the first Indigenous woman to win in the fiction category, as well as other awards include an Amazon First Novel Award, the Kobo Emerging Writer Award, the Vancouver Book of the Year Award, the Evergreen Award, and CBC's Canada Reads 2022. Madam Chancellor, we recognize there is still much work to be done here at SFU and in the wider world to advance reconciliation in Canada. And Michelle Good is a most respected guide on that long journey. Through her powerful writing and advocacy, Ms. Good insists that we never again look away from the painful legacy of the residential school system. For her brave, honest, and vital work on behalf of survivors everywhere, I ask that you now confer upon her the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Michelle Good, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. Dr. Good will be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Ellie, Vice Provost and Associate Vice President, Learning and Teaching, and Dr. Tom Nault, University Registrar and Executive Director, Student Enrollment.
It is now with pleasure that I call upon Dr. Michelle Good, who also happens to be celebrating her birthday today. Okay, let's just stop. Before we have her give our convocation address, I think we should sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dr. Good. Happy birthday to you. You're good? Yeah. I'll hold on to your pictures. Thank you. Fantastic. You okay up there?
Yep. Yeah. As I said last night, it's a good thing there's a stool, otherwise it would be Kilroy. Madam Chancellor, Madam President, esteemed elders, pipers, drummers, dignitaries, honored guests, thank you. Dr. Yellowhorn, I thank you, not only for your consideration of my work as worthy of this honor, but for your own important contribution to bringing the children lost to residential schools home. My life has been anything but conventional. To find myself here among you, to be honored in this way, is something I never would have imagined. Not in the challenging years of my youth, or in the trenches of grassroots work with Indigenous peoples, or in the grueling and heartbreaking work of hearing the stories of residential school survivors and striving to create an atmosphere in the less than warm world of the law where they would feel not only safe, but heard, believed, and respected. And yet, here I am. Honoris causa. Thanks to my dad, I've always had not only a deep love of words, but a commensurate desire to understand the depth of words. Honoris causa. In the academic world, we understand this term as a degree awarded without examination, as a mark of esteem, and that it is. Also, the literal translation from Latin is, for the sake of honor. From the day I received the astonishing news that Simon Fraser wished to bring me here this day in recognition of my work, I've been held in sway by this turn of phrase, for the sake of honor. Whether by default or design, when I look back on this long and winding road that has been my life so far, it seems that it has largely been for the sake of honor. Trying to simply do what's right, what would bring the greater good, even if it wasn't easy, even if it was all shrouded in uncertainty or met with resistance. This little book of mine has catapulted me, a self-proclaimed hermit, into a very public sphere. I often speak with various groups on subjects ranging from the literary to the legal to the political to Indigenous realities generally. And from time to time, people will join in a standing ovation, and I urge them not to. Not only because it embarrasses me, but because in a way, it takes away their voice in the conversation. By rising and forming into an expression of admiration or appreciation of me, it is as though they are giving away their own ability, their own responsibility to do themselves what they may admire in me. I tell them, and I tell you, look, it's just me trying to do my best. Imagine, just imagine, what a different world we would see if we all strove each day to do our very best. Some days, our best might see the realization of something truly magnificent. Some days, it might be just getting out of bed when all you may want is to sleep away sadness or a weariness with the world. But if we set our sights on knowing what our best is in any given day and strive to achieve it, at the end of that day, you will be able to say, I did my best. And your best is all you can expect of yourself. And you will find, as my mother used to say, things have a way of working out. Dear graduands, what a special day for you. What a profound privilege an advanced education is. How wonderful that you set out on a path, did your best, and here you are, achieving your goal. There are some words from various luminaries in various disciplines that inspire me and have for many years. I will share a few with you in the hope they offer you some inspiration as well. Sorry. The first is from famous choreographer Martha Graham. She said, "Nobody cares if you can't dance well. Just get up and dance. Great dancers are not great because of their technique. They are great because of their passion." Albert Schweitzer said, "At times, our own light goes out and it is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us have cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. And grateful I am. For the many people in my life, some of them here today, who have reminded me of the flame and raised me up in times when it seemed all too difficult. Finally, from the brilliant mind of author, playwright, and deadly funny guy, Thomas King, as performed in CBC's radio program, The Dead Dog Cafe, be brave, stay strong, and watch for the signs. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow, thank you very, very much, Dr. Good. Absolutely inspirational. Just wonderful words to think about the challenge for us to do our best every day and to strive for better. So thank you very much. It's an honor to have you with us. As part of Convocation, the Alumni Association will present a Simon Fraser University alumni pin to graduates after they leave the stage. Our alumni are incredibly important to us, and we are pleased that this symbolic presentation will launch you on your new role as an alumni of SFU. Mr. Oshie Matur received a Bachelor of Applied Science honors degree in Biomedical Engineering in 2014 at SFU, as well as a Master's of Business Administration degree from UBC in 2022. He is currently a director on the SFU Alumni Association board. I invite Oshie to the lectern to bring greetings to the graduates. Oshie.
Thank you, President Johnson. Good afternoon to SFU's newest alumni. Today, your relationship with SFU evolves. You're now officially members of SFU's alumni community, a community of change makers, problem solvers, leaders, collaborators, and industrious alumni around the globe. Wherever you go, SFU alumni will be cheering you on. As you cross the stage today, be proud of your accomplishments and everything it took to be in this moment. Thank you all for investing your time and energy and talents in this great university. As alumni, you now serve as ambassadors for SFU in your community. Through your journey, you will also inspire current and future students to dream, to strive for excellence, and to make your own mark on the world. Please stay connected with SFU alumni. We provide you with opportunities to learn, grow, and thrive through local, national, and international events, career resources, library services, and many other value-added benefits. And we want to hear from you and have the chance to celebrate your successes. Following today's ceremony, you are all invited to your faculty's celebration reception. To find out more, open up your Convocation program book to the first page and scan the QR code for location and event details. We look forward to seeing you there. Congratulations to SFU's global community of alumni.
Thank you so much, Oshie. Before the graduands are presented individually to the Chancellor, Ms. Alexander Darian, a member of the graduating class, will provide the graduation address. Through her studies, Alexandra showed a passion for zooarchaeology, and through that, received a scholarship to support her research thesis. She currently serves as a reviewer for the Canadian Journal of Undergraduate Research and is pursuing a PhD at Trent University, using stable isotope analysis to study the diets of Arctic foxes recovered from archaeological sites. I am now pleased to call upon Ms. Darian.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure and privilege to be speaking here today at this beautiful place that I called home for 7 years. During my master's degree, there were times that I did spend more time here than at my house. I first came to SFU in 2015. Like a lot of you, I was 18, I had no idea what I was doing, and I kept getting lost in Robert C. Brown Hall. My first semester here, I got a D in my introductory Spanish class. In my oral exam, the professor asked me a long question in Spanish, and I was so lost that I just replied, "Dos?" Then she stared at me for a long time before furiously scribbling on her clipboard. But I persevered, just as all of you did. In archaeology, I found my passion, and it was that passion that kept me going through all of the term papers, exams, and weeks where it really felt like the professors were conspiring against us to make everything do at the same time. I was challenged, I had successes, I had failures, and from all of that, I learned. I learned about archaeology, but equally, I learned about the kind of person I wanted to be. That's the wonderful part about university. You grow so much as a person. I think back on who I was when I first came here, and I'm amazed by how much I've changed. I mean, I still get lost in Robert C. Brown Hall. Why do you think it took me 5 years to finish my BA? I had a sociology tutorial in there in second year, and I spent the next year trying to find my way back to the AQ. I just emerged outside of Images Theatre, wild-eyed, my clothes tattered, and I frightened a bunch of first years waiting for their Psych 100 lecture to start. I really did have the best time here. I almost didn't come to SFU, actually. At 18, wanting so badly to be grown up, I almost accepted an offer to a school across the country, but my dad, who also went to SFU, convinced me to come here. So now, I have to say something that every child dreads. Dad, you were right. What stands out the most to me about my time at SFU is the people. There really is a strong sense of community at SFU. Maybe with the exception of the times when it snows and it turns into Lord of the Flies to get on one of the buses before the roads close, but the other times we're a community. Some of my fondest memories from undergrad are of studying with friends in the AQ well into the evening, all of us with notes and empty cups of Renaissance coffee scattered across the table. During my master's degree, I was surrounded by other graduate students, staff, and faculty that never hesitated to offer a listening ear or another set of eyes on a research problem I was struggling with. While the next chapter of our lives will look different for all of us, is that sense of community, that SFU spirit that we will carry forward. We know that there is no challenge that is insurmountable, and that successes are greater when we rise together. In that spirit, on behalf of the graduating class, I would like to take a moment to thank the SFU administration, all of the professors, teaching assistants, staff, our family and friends who helped us get here today. Your guidance, support, and the sacrifices you've made for us mean the world, and we would not be here today without you. My grandmother used to say that education is something no one can ever take away from you. Whatever we go on to do next, the lessons we learned, and the memories we made at SFU will always be with us. As we prepare to go on to the next chapter, I'd like to leave you with some advice that I learned during my time here. Do everything with passion, and don't be afraid to fail, because it's only after plans A to Z didn't work out that the best parts of your life will happen. Congratulations, class of 2022. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alexandra, and I want to say a special thanks to Alexandra's father today as well. It is really wonderful. We're so proud to have you at Simon Fraser University, and thank you for your inspiring words. The members of the graduating class will now be presented to the Chancellor to be admitted en masse to their degrees. And so I will ask, will the members of the graduating class, the graduands, please rise if you are able. Madam Chancellor, I present to you those scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of this university and request that you confer upon them the degrees for which they are now recommended.
Thank you, President Johnson. I'm about to do the formal part where the degrees actually get conferred, but before I do, I would just invite you to take a moment to soak this point in time in. All of your friends and family here, your colleagues around you, just take a moment. It's a moment unlike any other you'll probably achieve again. And it's a good reminder that for the majority of the world's population, this is a moment that they don't have access to, and they too would never have an opportunity to achieve. So you're lucky, and we're lucky to have had you. And so now I will do what chancellors have done for hundreds of years and begin by tipping my hat to you and say these words. By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to your various and several degrees. Congratulations. You know, the morning convocation was a little louder. Let's try that again. Congratulations. That's more like it. Please be seated.
Well done. Fantastic. The members of the graduating class here in Convocation Mall will now be presented individually to the Chancellor. But first, a few requests for those of you who are in the mall today. Family, friends, we welcome you to applaud, cheer, and share the joy that you have for your graduate as they cross the stage. I would ask, though, that as a courtesy to others, please remain seated until the conclusion of the ceremony. Today is a day for celebration. Graduands, after you have crossed the stage, I invite the doctoral graduates to join us and join our colleagues here on the platform. And to all other honored graduates, out of respect for your peers, please return and remain in your seat until the end of the ceremony. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. The degrees in the Faculty of Education and the Faculty of Environment will now be presented. Madam Chancellor, I invite Associate Dean, Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Dr. George Agnes, to begin the presentation of those who have earned graduate degrees.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Education will now be presented. I invite Dr. Chris Magnuson, Dean Pro Tem of the Faculty of Education, to join us.
Dr. Crystal Delabure O'Connor, supervised by Dr. Anne Chinnery. Dr. Holman Lozano, supervised by Dr. Anne Chinnery. Dr. Kari Gustafson, supervised by Dr. Charles Bingham. Dr. Andrew Hare, supervised by Dr. Natalie Sinclair. Dr. Connie James, supervised by Dr. Rumiana Ilyeva. Dr. Jaswinder Uppal Hirshorn, supervised by Dr. Kumari Beck. Dr. Christine Key White, supervised by Dr. Oslam Sensoy. Dr. Vesna Malkovich, supervised by Dr. Vicky Kelly.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of the degree of Doctor of Education in the Faculty of Education will now be presented.
Dr. Catherine Mulski, supervised by Dr. Vicky Kelly. Dr. Alice Chow, supervised by Dr. Alan McKinnon. Dr. Karim Badruddin Dosa, supervised by Dr. David Kaufman. Dr. Louise Lacerte, supervised by Dr. Alan McKinnon.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Environment will now be presented. I invite Dr. Naomi Krogman, Dean of the Faculty of Environment, to join us.
Dr. Laurie Darkus, supervised by Dr. Angela Dandria. Dr. Tingan Lee, supervised by Dr. Jeremy Venditti. Dr. Ian Lockhead, supervised by Dr. Nicholas Headley. Dr. Jesus Pulido Castanon, supervised by Dr. Duncan Noller. Dr. Leah Emily Rosenkrantz, supervised by Dr. Nadine Sherman. Dr. Rodrigo Solis Sosa, supervised by Dr. Sean Cox.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of master's degrees in the Faculty of Education will now be presented. I invite Dr. Chris Magnuson, Dean Pro Tem of the Faculty of Education, to join us.
Amanpreet Bains. Sarah Fisher. Lindsay Lichty. Daryl Tobin. Ashley Akehurst. Jennifer Alistair Harvey. Carmeline Priya Amarasekare. Catherine Bebudi. Sebastian Blay. Nadia Bocott. Rebecca Brandley. Olivia Carnwright. Tiana Chan. Angela Chen. Esther Cheng. Wendy Cheng. Wilson Chu. Jennifer Cordoba. Duncan Crawford. Janine Dahl. Jessica Maria Carvajal. Ashley DeSantis. Eric Desaulnier. Sophia Duji. Matea Diamond. Rebecca Diep. Kaylee Dobby. Candace Dyke. Jessica Elkin. Candace Erickson. Laura Farley. David Feng. Allison Ferguson. Natalie Frost. Carrie Galloway. Daniel Gardner. Audrey Jelena. Krista Ann Gerlich Fitzgerald. Josh Giesbrecht. Valley Gill. Christian Goudreau. Kaylin Graves. Tara Green. Katie Grigg. Jenna Grossman. Brittany Howie. Diana Shea. Shinran Huang. Salma Jaffer. Alyssa J. Jasmine Jassel. Tatiana Johnson. Gina Kim. Lalita Kuhn. Shalene Kumar. Rebecca Langmead. Kim Larson. Curtis Lau. Lan Chi Lee. Amy Lemon. Dawn Leonard. Gail Little. Michelle Louis. Kelly Lusk. Caitlin Mackey. Jennifer Maley. Iqbal Mann. Courtney McGrath Ag Hodgson. Angela McGregor. Alyssa Miller. Jana Moist. Yumiko Morita. Natasha Newberry. Melissa Noble. Carolina Norton. Toluwalashe Pauls. Dawn Purdue. Sarah Plaisant. Angela Pontius. Catalina Ramirez Pinzon. Shane Reeder. Jacob Ross Ewart. Angela Ryder. Megan Sandham. Jenna Sandhu. Monali Santiago. Giovanna Sorrow. Elizabeth Scally. Vikas Sharma. Irene Singh. Manisha Singh. Shan Smith. Desiree Stack. Benjamin Stewart. Christina Sutton. Sherry Tan. Chelsea Taylor. Adrian Thirsk. Chanel Tour. Catalin Tureki Peziak. Thai Van Phuc Trin. Elise Truong. Alicia Tsi. Andrea Valdieri. Carla Vanderpauw. Raya Wandeler. Christina Wastrom. Troy Werrell. Nicole Wilson. Kendra Wong. Christine Woods. Kayla Yee. Noor Ulain Zaib.
Hi, Noor. Congratulations to you. Well done.
No, not here? Okay. Madam Chancellor, the students who have completed the requirements of graduate diplomas in the Faculty of Education will now be presented. Ladies and gentlemen, so we had a posthumous degree recipient who is not attending this ceremony today.
Would you like me to just read that? Yeah, I got it. You got the name? At this time, we would like to acknowledge Soa Martin, a Faculty of Education student who passed away and is being awarded her master's degree posthumously today.
Madam Chancellor, the students who have completed the requirements for graduate diplomas in the Faculty of Education will now be presented.
No. Can you show me? Show me this. Ready? Timothy Au. Kiran Deep Alj. Cassandra Boyer. Megan Brand. Sandra Chamberlain Oje. Connie Chow Go. Anda Damok. Cassandra Durr. Sarah Dinsmore. Laura Fraser. Jennifer Gauthier. Andrew Gertzen. Trevor Gertzen. Justine Hadwin. Kurt Heacock. Randip Johal Hare. Heather Kumar. Lydia Mazet. Megan McGarry. Lisa Moxon. Stephanie Eng. Sage Perry. Andrea Seacon. Phyllis Tong. Carnell Turton. Kira Wass. Leslie Zirk.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of master's degrees in the Faculty of Environment will now be presented. I invite Dr. Naomi Krogman, Dean of the Faculty of Environment, to join us.
Alexandra Darian. Jessica Tate. Elisa Akaluzzi. Roisin Cumming. Logan Drackett.
Madam Chancellor, I invite the Dean Pro Tem of the Faculty of Education, Dr. Chris Magnuson, and Dean of the Faculty of Environment, Dr. Naomi Krogman, to present the students earning undergraduate degrees.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of bachelor's degrees in the Faculty of Education will now be presented.
Alberto Cristofanini. Crisel Bautista. Emilia Carlson. Amber Corrales. Tiffany Chow. Allison Colburn. Yiju Dai. Kiana Ford. Gurkirat Gadri. Tia Hong. Jose Lopez. Michaela Madsen Orr. Alexia Seal. Rena Wong. Ya Chu Yang. Jonan Yang. Erica Joy Zuasola.
Madam Chancellor, the student who has completed the requirements for the diploma in the Faculty of Education will now be presented.
Heidi Giron.
Madam Chancellor, the graduates of the Faculty of Environment will now be presented.
Nicole Davey. Rory Doucette. Mitchell Gamayo. Yvonne Huang. Flora Hugon. Veronica Jeski. Jessica Lavery. Kirsten Elizabeth Matthews. Elizabeth Petrie. Eric Ramirez. Noura Hamdi Abdullah Saiful Nasser. Starsha Thompson. Keenan Chen. Yilin Huang. Sterling James. Kelsey McDonald. Manav Mehta. Sophia Nguyen. Emerald O'Donnell. Ujval Kumar Budram. And Connor Furman.
Last but not least, Connor, well done. Congratulations. Will the graduating class please rise if you are able? Fantastic. I am so honored that you are here today, and I congratulate each and every one of you. The completion of a degree is an impressive achievement, and I now want to encourage your friends and family to communicate their hearty congratulations to you by whatever means. For those of you online and those of you in the mall and on the platform, please join me in applauding the October 2022 graduating class. Well, I certainly hope that you're feeling the love, graduates, because now I'd like to invite you, the members of the graduating class, to reciprocate by applauding your family, friends, faculty, and staff, and all of those who have helped you along the way. Please be seated.
Friends, this completes the formal awarding of degrees. Some graduands recommended by Senate for degrees today are unable to be present here in Convocation Mall, and their names have therefore not been read out. I now admit them to the appropriate degrees as shown in the program. Yeah. Before we depart, I have several thank yous to express. First of all, of course, to all of you who came out to celebrate this special day, the friends, the families, the supporters, thank you so much for joining us. It makes such a difference to have you celebrating your graduate success today, so thank you very much for joining us. And to the many staff and volunteers and faculty members, as you can appreciate, an event like this doesn't happen without a huge number of countless hours of people putting in to make sure everything runs just right. Those of us who have enjoyed this ceremony today, please join me in thanking the volunteers for everything they did to put on this convocation. Honored graduates, family, and friends, you are now invited to attend your faculty celebration reception. Event details can be found by scanning the QR code in your Convocation program book on page 1. We look forward to this beautiful afternoon and continuing to celebrate with you. This brings to a close the formal part of this afternoon's convocation. Please rise if you are able and remain standing at your places as the platform party recesses. Thank you, congratulations, and good afternoon.
Congratulations once again to today's graduates. Our ceremony has now come to a close. For the safety of all in attendance and to reduce crowding, we will exit Convocation Mall beginning with the graduates at the front of the mall